he muted me. Oh,
Hey, back.
yeah. Where's the sniper, aka David, is on my team. Yes.
Okay, I'll
I'm
unmute.
I've heard that you think couldn't be mine, but it's what it is, I guess.
So, right, so has anything happened since I've gone?
No.
Okay, so, Arco, would you like to lead off natural law, or shall I?
Yeah, sure. So, Ferd, are you going to be debating natural law, or is one of your friends going to be debating natural law?
Um,
I'm just curious who I'm going to be debating.
Yeah. I'm gonna debate natural law, I guess, cause I don't think wait, David, how much do you know about natural law?
Natural?
Yeah, natural law, like what happens when you've got no boundaries and stuff, like when you don't have a state or government or an anarchist society, when you've got like when it's like a totally like completely lawlessness, like no rules, no contracts, no everything, just like natural law, like what happens and what people do when there's no laws and shit. Do you know enough about this subject or?
No, I don't.
Oh. Yeah, I guess it's up to me to argue.
Okay. So I'll just go through what you have in your manifesto. So in natural law, you say natural law is the concept that nature, naturalism, lawlessness, and the unrestricted is the highest force with no legal boundaries. And I have a question because I think your definition already entails a contradiction, which is that it's a law, yet it is lawlessness. So I'm curious how you reconcile those two things. If you're saying that it is a law that exists in nature, but it is lawlessness, do you see how that would not be a law by that definition?
Sorry, what?
In your definition of natural law, you have that it is lawlessness, and that is a contradiction in the definition.
How's it a contradiction?
It can't be a law if it is lawless.
What it's lawlessness. You don't have any rules though, and it's all, and people can do whatever they want and enforce their own rules because there's no laws and shit.
Yeah, that would not. So lawlessness is no rules, etc. But natural law is that there are laws that emerge from human nature. So if you're saying that natural law is the concept of lawlessness, I think that's a contradiction, first of all.
I'm not getting him. David, did you get what he was saying?
I think that law is a human concept.
Right.
And what he says by natural law, it's like some sort of spiritual thing. I don't know how to explain.
Well, what is a law? Like, let's just get a little more basic before we even get into natural. Like, what is a law?
A law is when people say when people. It's when there's an I'm kind of bad at remembering what it's called right now, but it's when you have an entity that like governed entity or just something like a community or whatever that like imposes rules and says you can't do this.
Yeah, there's a rule. So natural law is that the rule exists separate from humans. It's something that nature has. So the concept of natural law being lawlessness is a contradiction because natural law is typically defined as a law that exists in nature. It's like a natural order of things or an ethic.
Yeah, but yeah, and isn't it the natural order that that does? Wait, what are you saying?
Well, so a natural order is not necessarily a natural law.
Human.
Like there can be a natural order of things, but that doesn't mean that there's a rule that one should follow. And so it seems to me like what you're actually saying is that there is a state of nature for humanity, and that state of nature is originally without any laws. Would you agree to that statement?
Wait, no. What I'm saying is that back when you don't have, when it's natural law and there's no when that there's nothing that imposes a systematic, like, or organized entity that claims territory or enforces rules and culture and, like, um, uh, groups of or
Yeah. I think it's what you're saying, which is that originally the state of humanity did not have laws, and that humans constructed laws.
yeah, sure.
Okay, so I would describe that as just a state of nature for humanity rather than natural law.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I myself have to admit this, that I'm not too sure about the term natural law, because it seems also to be that something to do with uh, Christianity or religion or something, or and other stuff. But
Well,
it's just like
you could make that. Sorry, Ferd, I didn't mean to interrupt.
okay.
You could just.
What I'm trying to say by natural law is that we don't have that there's nothing that there's not having any governing entity that forces rules and people and stuff, and like everybody's forced into being in a state or a specific
Right.
model and
Right.
stuff.
So it seems to me like what you're saying is that there's a difference between the types of laws that a community or a tribe would make versus the types of laws that a state would make. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so then my question to you is, why is a rule that's made by a community something that is good, but a rule that is made by a state something is bad?
No, I'm against. I don't really know about the term community. I guess a tribe is kind of a community, though. But what is the question? Your question was how is it bad that?
Well, it seems to me like you're saying in a tribe, the community will create rules and govern themselves. So why is it okay for a community to create laws, to construct their own laws, but it is not okay for a state to construct laws?
Because I didn't submit to those rules. Since when did I ever agree that I aren't allowed to smoke weed? Not that I do or planning to do so, but or that I can't. And then I can't. I'm bad at coming with examples like that.
Yeah, I get your point. Your point is that your point.
They like to put people to jail for just being human or just doing whatever they would naturally otherwise have done. So they're preventing, like, natural shit from happening and stuff. The AIDS and governing.
Yeah, so it seems to me like your objection is sort of this nature of consent, and you think that in a tribe you would just have more power to consent to the laws versus living in a society. Yeah. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. You can do whatever you want to do in a tribal society.
I don't think that's true, though, because I think in a tribal society, let's say in a tribal society, what I wanted to do is stab you in the throat. Would I be able to do whatever? Would I be able to do that right now?
I'm not saying it's necessarily a good thing allowed to. Even that's going to happen. We need to get rid of all weak people, though. And I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just saying, like, this is like.
I know you're not. I know you're not advocating for violence. What I'm asking you is, the statement you said was, In a tribal society, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but in a society, you cannot. So now I'm asking you a hypothetical. Let's say what the fuck I want to do is to stab you in the throat. Could I do that in a tribalist society?
So I'll probably start defending myself, maybe. I don't know if that we actually met though, and there was no rules and lawlessness and stuff. But is everyone still okay? Okay, it's just lagging. Okay, I'm not lagging. Okay, but I believe in the term like might makes right and stuff, and survival of the fittest and shit. Like if you can't defend for yourself, you shouldn't even be allowed to be there in the first place, though. Because what's happening right now is like civilization and governments and stuff shit. They allow people to be weak, and they allow femininity to wise.
Ferd, that doesn't answer my question on if I would be allowed to stab you in the throat in a tribal society where you said I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, you can, but I'm probably going to defend myself. But technically, I can also do that to you as well, though, and you can do that to me, so...
Right. So I think if you had a society where people could just do that whenever they wanted, that type of society would fracture. No one would want to be part of a group where anyone could come up and stab me at any time.
What?
No one would want to be part of a group where someone in the community could stab me at any time.
Too bad, man. Too bad.
So your point is that there's a state of nature, and my critique of this idea that you can do anything you want is that part of our nature is we are a social creature, and we like social cohesion, which is part of that would mean we wouldn't just go around stabbing people just because we want to. That would absolutely disrupt the tribe. So there would be rules that would emerge in a tribe from the nature of our humanity that would govern how the tribe behaves. One of those rules would be something like freedom from pain or suffering or unnecessary violence.
Why do people are violent to begin with? The only reason people are violent is because we live under civilization, which I can argue about later, though, maybe. But
I don't think that the only reason we're violent is because of civilization, because violence existed before civilization popped up.
Yeah, sure. It's a necessary part of nature, basically. And you're against nature, so...
I'm not against nature. Why do you think I'm against nature? At what point have I said anything where I'm against nature?
Nature requires the full environment, no civilization, and also as well it requires natural selection. That's also a huge really big part of it and stuff as well.
I would like to actually add in there that's an appeal to nature fallacy. Do you know what that means, Ferd? Appeal to nature fallacy.
No, I don't.
Okay, so appeal to nature. So fallacy is unsound reasoning that could or could not be true. So somebody could say something like, oh, well, 99% of doctors believe that this is true. Now, technically, it could not be true. But because it's because it's sound reasoning, it's not a fallacy. Now, if appeal to nature fallacy is when people refer to nature. For example, there's a lot of different things that are a part of human nature. Violence is a part of human nature. Also, trying to seek some level of cohesion and peace is a part of human nature. So if I was to say, violence is a part of human nature, therefore we should live in a violent society, I make an appeal to nature fallacy. If I say that, oh, well, wanting to live peacefully in a peaceful society and there should be absolutely no violence, and that's our state of nature, absolutely no violence, that is an appeal to nature fallacy. What I'm trying to say here, Ferd, is human nature is more complex than just black or white. Then this is natural and this is not natural. Do you disagree with that?
But before I forget, I was just kind of gonna say that it's still lawlessness and it's still technically rulelessness, but under tribes though, they would not let other people kill each other.
It's not.
Hold on.
Not lawlessness if the tribe creates a rule.
Also, in tribes, people they can enforce that if anybody kills each other or attacks some of their tribe members or kills some of them in their own tribes, kills each other, they're gonna get rid of them or take care of it in some kind of way though. So So
Right,
it's
but
not
those
like
people
so
don't
fair, though.
consent
It's
to
not fair,
that.
though.
Those people don't consent to that in the same way that you do not consent to the laws in society. So it suffers the same problem that you have with a society.
But Ferd, you're not engaging with my comment. You made an appeal to nature fallacy. You have unsound reasoning. Ferd, hold on. Ferd. Can you acknowledge that you had unsound reasoning when you were saying that he was against nature? Do you acknowledge that, or do you not acknowledge that? I'm just asking.
To acknowledge if he is against nature?
No. Do you acknowledge you were using faulty reasoning by saying he was against nature?
By saying what you cut out there.
You made a claim that you were claiming that he was against nature, or society was against nature. Like, do you understand my criticism? Or no, not society. The laws that he would want would be against human nature in a tribalist society. Do you understand my criticism where I'm trying to make the argument you were using unsound reasoning? Because I believe you were talking about wanting to kill somebody, right, Arco? And then he gave the he made the statement that the laws that Arco wishes for is against nature.
Yeah.
Now, that was an appeal to nature fallacy. Now, Ferd, I might not be quoting you perfectly, but do you acknowledge that that is faulty reasoning?
I don't. You're making you're overcomplicated. I can't. I know you're not. But I know you're. I don't know.
All right, I'll make another example. I'll make another example, Ferd. Somebody could make an example that they should reproduce by raping, because that's natural. Because rape is natural, therefore there should be no laws. But it's also a part of. Hold on, Ferd. It's also a part of human nature for people to try and seek some level of mating culture, or some level of consent, or some level of connection. That is also like emotional connection.
So you of anybody who even dares try to rape anyone. I'm just saying.
This no. The reasoning. That was an example. That was an example. Ferd, that was an example. Do you understand the reasoning though?
Give me another better example then.
Okay, so another example is Jesus Christ, what else could I use for an appeal to nature fallacy? Like I said,
you could say something like because humans had, I don't know, because humans killed women and children in violent conflicts, naturally it is therefore good for humans to do that in war, or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you could just draw any distinction you want from our past history, and there's a bunch of different instincts that we have that contradict. So to make one urge or instinct natural and one unnatural, without sound reasoning, is particularly when it comes to what we were talking about with natural law, it's an appeal to nature fallacy. Like to make it non-fallacious, or to make it legitimate, you need some level of empirical analysis to actually distinct that this is against our nature, objectively, and that the opposition has no merit.
Or
little.
I'm not too familiar with those words you're trying to say and stuff. It's above what I can handle. I'm sorry. Not that
okay, you can continue. You can continue, Ferd, but my
okay. But okay, can I like uninterrupted say something? Do we actually have a moderator in here in the debate, or did he go, or is he not?
I was just like, I'm asking you these yes or no questions at times, and you're kind of going on, which is a little bit fine, but dude. Okay,
no, bro. Okay, bro. But first of all, do we have a moderator here?
Yes, there's moderators here.
What?
Yes, there are moderators here.
Okay, why haven't they done anything when I interrupted him and Dave interrupted me and stuff?
Dude,
I mean, like when why haven't they interfered when I interrupted him and he and one of them interrupted me and shit?
Well, because I think it's
parameters for this debate. I'm not even sure.
Okay, but what I was going to say, like uninterruptedly. Okay, so in a tribal society, we or not tribe. I mean, in tribes, if somebody tries to rape or do immoral things and stuff, we're gonna get rid of them. It's almost the exact same thing as on civilization. Besides, it's not fucking shitty crap civilization we live in, or in actual tribes. In tribes, and we're gonna get rid of anybody who rapes or kills and or when it's unjustified according to our motives and stuff, according to the tribe and the tribes and stuff. So if somebody rapes somebody, that's the kind of sample, then they're gonna get rid of, and depends on what circumstances and shit. But they're probably most likely, of course, gonna get rid of and stuff if someone does that shit.
Yeah, well, Ferd,
So it's not a problem.
Ferd, hold on. So, like, this is kind of the issue. The reason why I was interrupting is because I was, to some extent, I was asking you yes or no questions, and instead of answering them, you just went on a rant, which you've already explained to us. So I'm just going to leave this here, and then I'm going to let Arco continue. My point was, you were using unsound reasoning, something that could or could not be true, but that has a contradiction with human nature. Our nature to want to live in peace is at nature with our urge to kill people that we hate. Because of that, one or the other could be considered natural. Therefore, to claim one is more natural than the other is essentially fallacious. It's essentially absurd. So you might not understand that. That's fine. Arco, I'll let you continue.
So, Ferd, you're saying that a tribe would come up with, would like kick people out who do bad things, or they would be the force that would protect people. But then you said after that, unlike the state, which is just shitty and has these shitty rules. So you haven't made an argument for why the rules in a tribe are good and the rules in a society are bad. You've just said they're bad. So why are rules in a society that protect us from rape bad, but rules in a tribe that protect us from rape good?
I don't want to have to deal. Okay, so first of all, like even like other people that we have done, there's problem is that like we are forced to live with other people we don't like, and we can't just leave because we live in the states, of course, and or anarchist communities and stuff, which you can't leave because they've got like permanent territory and like expand shit and make shitty and agriculture as well as civilization. But and we can't if there's people we don't like, we can't ignore or like avoid them because we live under civilization, which under if you live under tribalism you could, or tribes you could get rid of them. And but in civilization or states or whatever, you can't get rid of people unless you put them in jail or like give them the death penalty and stuff. Like we don't fly people away and shit, and we can't even do that because then there would be us there as well that might not even accept them or and then and it's not natural either because it's, or we are living on civilization, it's not natural because it's like loud expansionist shit and so forth, which on unnatural like constructionism and shit as well. So too, but so you have to be forced to living with other people. So that's just one of the reasons though why tribe is superior to civilization, because you're actually with likable people and with your own tribe and ethnicity and people you share values on, and there's no differences between people as well. I know I'm kind of going in different direction right now to admit that, but it's just that people can choose for themselves what rules they like and stuff. And there's no one to stop them from enforcing their own rules and stuff because they live in under lawlessness society and stuff and under natural law and shit.
I don't think it's the case that in a tribe someone could just choose whatever rules they want. If they wanted to remain part of the tribe, they would have to follow the rules of the tribe. Otherwise, they're kicked out.
Whenever they want, though.
What?
Like
they can leave the tribe if they want, and the tribe can choose their own action or task on how they should handle the task and stuff. So they can so it's not the same thing though. People
but if they leave the tribe, they then they would go to another tribe where they would have to do the exact same thing. It's very difficult for a human to survive on their own in the wild without any type of technology.
Sure it is though, but people wouldn't even want to leave in the first place, but people can do that, but they wouldn't want to do that because they live on a tribal society which is very superior to ours, and it would be basically like a utopia and shit.
Okay.
And shit, because everyone would be good and comfortable and nice with each other and stuff, because they've like lived almost there.
Yeah, but it
Hold
doesn't
on, hold
seem
on.
it doesn't seem
Arco,
like you've made a
Arco.
real.
Entire lives, predominantly most would have lived their entire lives in the tribe and stuff, so they would be good and cool with each other, and though, because they've always known each other, and there would be no conflicts and stuff, because they would all believe in the same values and customs and stuff as the tribes has agreed on and stuff, and that they've
Bird.
enforced themselves and stuff. So that there wouldn't be any like disputes or anything within their own tribes, and people would be united and stuff in their own tribe.
Ferd. Okay, so Arco, may I interject quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so is it just me, or is Ferd making is Ferd begging the question? Ferd, have you ever heard of the term begging the question fallacy?
I haven't.
Okay, let's say if I say I trust my friend, and someone asks me, well, why do you trust him? I say, oh, I just trust him. So begging the question is when a premise, or basically an idea that you have, assumes a conclusion. For example, society is good, and if someone asks me why civilization is good, well, I just say, okay, well, civilization is good, it's a utopia. Like you're essentially using rhetoric, and you're essentially ranting. No. Hold on. You run from yes or no questions and you rant. You can let me finish. Hold on. Dude, I'm just saying, it sounds like to me you're not actually stating why civilization is bad. You're just saying that this is a utopia. And you're just, hold on, you're just assuming that everything is going to be better. You need to explain why it would be better. And what I mean assume, like, everyone's going to be happier. Like, you're not living in a tribalist society right now. Ferd, did you even, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you understand what I was saying with begging the question? Yes or no?
I didn't beg the question. I gave reasons. I don't know if you couldn't hear me or something. That was a connection error or something.
Is it
actually explain?
I don't know. Is it just me, or was he begging the question, Arco?
No, I wasn't. I was explaining why I hold my position and stuff, and gave tons of reasons.
Arco.
I think that's what I was trying to get at, Maple, is begging the question of like society is good, and then the reason why society is bad, and the reason why society is bad that he said is because leave society. So then I talked about how it'd be difficult to leave the tribe, and then he said, well, you could leave the tribe, but you wouldn't want to leave the tribe because you would have grown up in the tribe and you would have those traditions and you would accept them. And then it comes back to the question that we started with, which is the reason why society is bad is because you can't consent.
Ferd, hold on, let him finish.
You cannot consent to the traditions of society. You didn't choose to accept those traditions. You were raised into them and you accepted them in the same way that you didn't choose to be born in a society. You were raised in them. So you fall under the same problem in a tribal society versus a societal one.
I had a ton of lag there, so I couldn't really understand.
Okay, Ferd, hold on.
Haven't been relevant. Relevant in a tribal society, though. So it's not
moderator,
because people wouldn't want to leave and stuff.
Okay, yeah, but this is Ferd. You're wasting time. Ferd, you're wasting time. If you didn't hear him, you should at least let him speak again.
Okay. Yeah, but I did hear some of it though.
Well, like okay, so I'll just repeat the end of it, which is you said that what's bad about a society is you cannot consent to those laws because you did not choose them and you're born into it. Later, you said that when you grow up in a tribe, you're going to have the same values as everyone else in the tribe, which means that you will agree to the laws in the tribe that the tribe has constructed. But in the same way that you did not consent to the laws and civilization, you do not consent to the tradition in the tribe. So the tribe would also suffer the same reason for being bad that the civilization suffers from. In both cases, you could make the argument that the tribe is bad and the civilization is bad if you're going to base it being bad on consent, because in neither case can you consent to those laws using your definition of consent.
And like that's another thing, Ferd. You kind of have these like little ramble moments where you say the same thing over and over. Like You know, if you're saying the same thing over and over, it's a little frustrating. It's giving us more than what we need for the point sometimes. I do it myself. I do it all the time, dude. Don't worry.
I did actually give reasons and stuff too, so but I was telling different stuff on how to view things and getting all and almost not about as many details as possible. Maybe that was unnecessary, but I still did explain different viewpoints and how to explain it so you could understand my position.
Yeah, but that doesn't refute the claim that tradition suffers the same critique that rules of society does.
For to your own logic, both tribalist societies and civilization are bad. Can you understand that?
No.
Okay, Ferd, like, I'm not like. So do you want us to try and re-explain this to you? Because once again, there's a logical inconsistency.
No, I think it's best to just move on. We've gone
we can maybe go to tradition.
3 different times.
Actually, I would like to state something about natural law really quick here. You've stated in your manifesto, and I'm not sure if everyone else in the tribalist community agrees with this, that you don't that status in modern society is not exactly ideal, and the pursuit of modern status. Is that correct, or?
Yeah.
Does any other primitives want to weigh in? Does any other primitives like?
The only tribalist we've got right now is David. David, you got anything to say?
What?
He
Status.
He said,
Do you?
Status?
Yeah. Do you think status in civilization is a bad thing?
What kind of status?
That's a good question. What do you? So you don't think all status is bad, or the pursuit of status in a modern civilization?
I don't know what do you refer with status? I'm not too into very complex words since English is not my first language. Sorry.
Okay then. So, right. So getting back on it to it first. So, in a tribalist society, when you talk about getting rid of people that the tribe does not like, you are aware that could essentially, that logic could justify genocide. You constantly talk about getting rid of people, but you often don't. This is the first thing I want to get on. You often don't talk about what you're gonna do. Like, you can exile them, but then they could just join another tribe, or they can create their own tribe, and they might have resentment towards your tribe, or you can kill them and you never have to worry about them again. So I mean, like, how do you intend to quote unquote get rid of people? What does that even mean?
It simply means like getting rid of people. You can send them to an island. You can ask them to fuck off, or you can do the worst thing it should ever be necessary.
So you haven't thought out what get rid of them means?
What? Yeah, I have though. We're gonna tell them to fuck off. Like wow, this is I fucking hate arguing about this.
That's not a prescription. That's a description. What are the actions you're going to take?
Yeah, I was saying it might be sending them to an island, asking them to fuck off, or yeah.
Okay, so okay, so with that being said, okay, so you most likely exiling is what you're championing. Okay, so okay,
I don't know what that means. Not my first.
So exiling means like you send them to an island, or you send them far away. You send them out of your network. So
yeah, because I actually love islands, and they shouldn't be an island. We should be the ones getting to islands.
Okay, Ferd. So I'm gonna continue with my point. So, without a justice system and investigation technology, so let's say if a crime happens, without a justice system and without investigative technology, the truth is going to be a lot harder to get to. Do you agree with that?
What's truth that I have to get into? We live in fucking trial society. It's not like there's this like some shit where somebody like gets murdered and then we're gonna have detectives go investigate shit and stuff. This is like freaking tribes, man. It's tribe society. It's not necessary. They're not needed. This is like false problems made
Okay.
up by civilization.
Well, the reason why we have... Okay, so... Do you acknowledge, Ferd? This is a yes or no question. If you cannot answer yes or no question again, I'm going to cut you off. Or if you can't answer it, you can maybe ask someone else to answer it. Do you agree that without investigative technology, it's going to be harder to get to the truth of a crime? This is yes, no. You
can't do this to me, man, because I don't think it's gonna happen.
You can say maybe. You can say maybe. You can say maybe. You could ask someone else.
No, it could be. Okay, fucking ask David there. But if you're actually gonna do that, but I'm just saying so that there's not gonna be not every question can be yes or no. I'm saying that this is not gonna be a thing that's even gonna happen in the first place, because those scenarios, those criminal scenarios or situations are not gonna happen though, because what?
Ferd, I'm going to continue. What you're saying is absolutely ridiculous, Ferd. Like if you can just say neither, like you could have just said neither and just left it there. Like you don't have to go on for a long rant. So
no, we're not gonna have it.
Ferd, okay, Ferd, just hold on here. So throughout human history, there has been crimes. People have tried to frame other people for murder and death. It still happens to this day. If you don't like somebody, you could technically try killing them, and you could try and plant evidence so that somebody else takes the blame. Do you understand that it's going to be harder to figure out in a tribal society without a justice system and an investigative team and technology?
David, can you guess before, please?
Well, I think that crimes will happen no matter what.
Yeah, but do you acknowledge? Do you acknowledge though,
yeah,
dude?
I acknowledge it. It will be definitely harder to know who committed a crime.
Thank you. Fuck. Okay, so you acknowledge that it's going to be more difficult. So so in your ideal society, David, do you believe, or do you want investigative technology? What would your society of 750 to 250 people, like in your ideal society, how many people would there be, and would there be investigative technology?
How many people invest in technology?
I'm just asking a simple question. Would there be investigative technology in your ideal society, David? I'm trying to be very charitable.
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay. So one of my problems with Ferds society. So David, thank you for being very honest. And I genuinely mean that. I do appreciate the honesty. So without investigative technology, it would be harder to get to the truth. And whenever conflicts would happen, it would come down to a popularity contest of status, friendship, and blackmail. So if I was accused of something, and if I could blackmail the leader, no, Ferd, you can let me finish. If I could blackmail the leader, if I had status, if I had friends, for whatever means, this all becomes very, very important, because that's the only thing that determines how you're able to either avoid punishment or potentially be punished. So other coercive tactics could also be used, but once again, that's blackmail. Do you understand my criticisms of natural law? Do you understand my criticisms of it? Your society is just a big popularity contest.
I was just okay, but everybody would be friends with each other, and everybody would be united in a tribe. So who would even want to do that? It's not going to be a popularity contest, because everyone would be equally popular to each other in a tribe.
Okay. I think that's a little idealist in that you're assuming humans would have equal likes with each other in the tribe, but I don't know if I've ever seen that in any context.
That's because we live on a civilization where people have different ethnicities, people have different beliefs, people have different religions and interests and hobbies and shit, which makes people indifferent towards each other. And if people are more likely the same, though, then they're most likely going to be equally friends with each other, because everyone would almost have the same personality and same tactics and same.
Again,
Ferd,
I think there's an assumption. There's an assumption there about how humans would behave in a certain context. But we have tribes, human tribes that exist right now. And there are people who are researching these tribes. And this idealist position of like everyone's going to like each other equally has not been observed. So unless you can show some kind of empirical evidence that in tribes people like each other equally, I think that claim is that it's dead on arrival.
Ferd, if I could just quickly interject as well, like the problem is I'm not sure if you've ever been in, let's say, a religious tribe, a family tribe, or let's say just even close friendships to the point where it emulates a tribe, like you have a shared fate. When you have like really close friends, there's a chance you might end up hating them, like even if you're the same religion. Like I've met brothers who hate each other. So people don't always end up liking each other, even if they have everything that's the same. Humans have different personalities, and the advantage to having different personalities is everyone has different talents. But one of the problems with that is certain people with different talents sometimes don't get along with one another.
Yeah, and even if it's like a sibling brother thing, they don't actually hate each other. It's just like friendly, like, oh, no, what do you call it? What's the term? Can anyone actually help me here? It's like, what is it called? It's called like it's called like poking, it's teasing and stuff. It's just teasing basically and stuff, even if they do that. And fuck, what was the question you asked?
Ferd, I met brothers who wanted to kill each other. I've met brothers who genuinely hate each other. I've met family members. I've met people. I've met people where one of their family members, one of their brothers actually raped one of their family members. Like people don't. No. Ferd, you stop. Like if you can acknowledge that there's people in a society that need to get rid of, that literally proves our point that not everyone is always going to get along. What you're doing here is absolute insanity.
Yeah, but those kinds of people are going to get rid of if they even exist, and those people are more likely to pop up if you live under civilization, though, which is totally different from tribal society.
Have you ever seen that episode of Blackmail, Ferd? Do you watch Blackmail?
No.
It's a show on Netflix, and it shows dystopian futures with technology. There was this one episode where everyone rated each other, and if somebody got too low of a rating, they'd be thrown in jail. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say is that your society sounds a lot like that. Like if everyone needs to get along in order to be in your society, people are going to also pretend to get along with one another. People are going to be scared of being ousted or being fake. Like, I don't know if that's your requirement. Now, I'm not saying that is. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying.
People cannot be made good towards each other. Of course, people are does naturally like each other if people are the same, though. But under civilization or society, we have created those kind of different like biases towards each other, though. During times and stuff under different kinships and under democracy and a lot of different things and stuff that civilization has created that has kind of like separated people and even our own families from each other and shit. And then if there's evil people out there, those people need to get rid of through natural selection, and also just like they fucking need to get rid of it because they're gonna be a threat to overall tribes and stuff, and even to tribes themselves and stuff.
Okay. So really quick here, Ferd. I just want to say I'm not saying that you ever said that everyone had to get along with one another. I'm just saying if that was your ideal goal, was to get everyone to get along with one another, it could potentially turn into absolute. It could turn into an absolute popularity contest where everyone's trying to get along. But anyways, I think you get my position on this, or you probably don't, whatever. But we can move on. I'll be back in a sec, guys.
Evil people can get rid of naturally and natural to law, by the way. But what is he asking? Mom, yeah.
I have a question about. You said that in society is imposing these biases on us. Is that something you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so why would a tribe not impose biases?
What I mean by bias, I don't know if that's actually the correct definition or term of the word, but you don't get when people live under small, like really small communities and stuff with tribes, for example, and band societies and shit, kinships, but then people get more along with each other because they don't have any differences, let's say political views, uh, hobby views and stuff, and people would get to know more each other because they wouldn't just find other people, like no one would be left out because they live on a tribal society, so no one would um, um be like no one would be left out of the group basically or excluded or anything, so everyone would naturally and automatically get along with each other because they would live in tribes.
Yeah, but that doesn't really explain to me why the tribe wouldn't also have biases. Because if everyone in the tribe, like, you're saying that everyone in the tribe would get along and they would like each other. But what if someone left a tribe and then came to your tribe and they were different? And the people in your tribe didn't like this new person and they wanted to kick them out. Wouldn't that be an example of your tribe having a bias against another type of
Wait,
person?
wait, wait. You said that they would leave the tribe and come back. They should
No,
be on
no, they would be from
another.
they would be kicked out from
No.
another tribe and come to yours. So like your tribe A and there's a tribe
Then
B.
we would convert them and for what you called we would bring them our at for what you called our um
Your
at
customs or
yeah, no,
something.
that's not the term I was looking for. Well, I have like OCD, so it's really important for me to bring the specific word up. Um, uh, our our app. Someone please. It's called ad app. Uh, it's like when you have a view.
Attributes,
No, it was something else.
attitudes,
Maybe now I think it was something else. I don't know.
assimilate. They would assimilate.
No, it's not that. It doesn't really matter. Do I?
Okay.
No,
Well,
agenda. Okay,
agenda. Oh, I see. You would convert them to your agenda. But let's assume in this hypothetical that they don't want to be part of your agenda. What would you do?
Then they couldn't become a part of the tribe, though, and they would have to find some other tribe, I think.
It would, and that's an example of a bias that your tribe would have.
Yeah, and what's wrong with that if we are united about our bias?
I don't think there's something necessarily wrong yet. My point is, you said society would give you a bias, and that would be wrong. And then this is another example of the tribe doing the same thing, but you're just accepting that when the tribe does it, so it's okay, but when a civilization does it, it's bad. But there hasn't been a clear reason why it's bad in the civilization case, but it's fine in the tribal case.
You can't leave a civilization, though. By the way, what was the other reasons as well, though?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about this. I'm talking about this one thing. I mean, it's almost like you could just name the trait on what's the difference between a tribe and a civilization. That makes one right and one wrong. What's the difference?
Because in tribes, people would have, and they would be similar and stuff, and they would believe in the same stuff and behave the same because they would be smaller community and no one would be left out, so everybody would get to know each other and decide and their own customs and agenda and so forth. So you can't leave a civilization because it's such large scale and stuff that it takes up over everything and stuff. And you could maybe if there was like this civilization and anti or non-civilization land, it wouldn't still be the same though, because it would still be in the way of natural order and would still be in the way of civilization would still be in the way of people's ability to what's going to say.
Well, I was just going to say, you already said that the natural state doesn't have laws and humans construct laws. So in the case of the tribe constructing laws and the civilization constructing laws, you're not really making it clear why it's wrong in the civilization case. And every time you do point out something, like you'll say, well, the civilization will put a bias on people in the civilization. I just pointed out how the tribe would also have a bias put out, how the tribe would cultivate a bias in people. But then you say, well, it's fine for the tribe because everyone gets along. Well, let's say we have a civilization where everyone gets along. Then would it be fine in the civilization case?
No, because there's still so many other things that would come into play, and it still wouldn't be possible because there would be so many people, so people could just have the choice to exclude and people and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like you're saying there'd be too many people, but that's because of how you're viewing the civilization. If you viewed every single tribe on the planet as one group of people, and then you viewed all of these differences that they have, it would be the same as all the differences that occur in a civilization. The thing that would be different is the body that's enforcing it.
You can't have this many people on the tribes because civilization is about creating agriculture and urbanism, which allows for this many people and and just by creating and industrialism and all this civilizationist shit, you get get fucking overpopulation. Now I'm kind of tired right now.
Yeah. Well, Ferd, my point is basically that the difference between the community case and the civilization case is just what's enforcing the rules. In one case, a tribe is enforcing the rules. In the other case, a state is enforcing the rules. But why is it wrong for a state to enforce rules?
What?
Why is it wrong for a state to enforce rules, and why is it okay for a tribe to enforce rules?
Because you can consent to rules in a tribe, though. You can't under a state. You're forced to do as they say, though. And if you don't,
we already went through the consent issue with the tribe. You also cannot consent in the tribe case in the same way, because you're born into the tribe. And may I finish? You're born into the tribe. You don't choose to be born into that tribe. You don't choose that tribe's traditions. You're born into it. You're conditioned to follow those traditions. And then you grow up and stay part of that tribe. The consent is missing in the tribe case, just like it is in the civilization case. And on top of that, in the tribe case, you can try and change the traditions. In the civilization case, you can try and change the laws and traditions. There is a way to change how things are going. So it still isn't clear to me what's wrong in one.
Who cares about mob pool or dictator?
What?
Or something else between those. Like either it's democracy or dictatorship or a parliamentary republic or something in between. I don't know those specific terms. Like not like I think everyone should you can't have civilization whereas you would be told make sure that even like 99% of people would be or 100% of people would be all agree with each other. In tribes, everyone would agree and they would have to agree with the same stuff and the same behaviors and the same the same agenda and all that.
Yeah, you could say the same thing about a civilization. People would have to agree to the laws, and if they don't, the civilization would put them in jail or kick them out or whatever. The same thing applies in the tribe. You haven't made it clear what's different, other than one's bigger than the other. And then you have to say, like, why is big bad?
Well, okay, so in tribes, cause it would be easier for people to all agree with each other, cause people can distance themselves in civilization.
That's also another problem too. People can't distance themselves from people who they disagree with in a tribe. So status and all these things matter more.
I said that in civilization people can distance themselves, but in tribes people can't distance themselves because they live in tribes, so they all have to know each other and agree with each other and stuff because they don't live on a civilization.
Have you ever been around someone who you didn't want to be around and you're forced to be around them?
Yeah, 1,000 times.
Now imagine having that for the rest of your life in a tribe.
I'll probably try to not trap them if or yeah. And they would also be easier converting me because I would have to live with them every day and communicate with them and stuff. So we'll probably be more liable to each other because we wouldn't backstalk each other. We would all we get along because we would have to know each other and stuff, which people don't have to in Civ.
So Arco, where are you at right now with this conversation?
Well, I'm still trying to get Ferd to say the difference between a tribe and a civilization that makes the tribe good and the civilization bad. Because every difference he gives me, I can point out how it's true in the tribal case.
Okay, I can come up with something. Okay, in another civilization, you have agriculture, which chops down trees and destroys the environment in the name of progress and industrialism and technology and blah blah. Fuck civilization, man.
So well, that's different than the law stuff that we're talking about. So if you want to go into like environmental impact, we can go into that. But actually, I'm specifically talking about the law and as it relates to the like natural law and the civilization tribes.
Arco, this might just like go on forever though if this continues.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, how about we go into environmentalism? Because actually, I did have some questions for Ferd as well. So,
yeah.
You know, Arco, would you like to speak, or shall I speak?
Oh, I think you can go. I don't think that Ferd's made the case that the laws and customs would be better in the tribal society versus civilization. So
I can ask you about that. Before we continue, also I have to say that I just thought you meant that I could bring up any difference and didn't have to be a difference about the fucking what was it this thing people getting along. I can't remember what it was. Fuck.
Oh yeah, it like how do you know that everyone in the tribe would get along?
Oh yeah.
But then when I did I asked you a hypothetical about in a civilization, if everyone got along, would it still be bad in the civilization? And you said yes, it would still be bad.
What? That was just too fast for me. I'm sorry.
I asked you the hypothetical. If there was a civilization where everyone got along, just like a tribe where everyone got along, would it be okay for the civilization? And you said no. And so it's not just about getting along in the tribe.
Like, honestly, I think it's time we move on. So, Ferd, I have a question about environmentalism. So you care about the environment, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can agree that there are some bad things to modern civilization, such as the pollution, you know, big industries. There are some negative downsides. We can agree on that, right? We can agree on that, right? Or do you disagree?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Okay. I was just asking. Okay, so particularly when I think about the possibilities. So let's say if Denmark, you know, a population. How many people live in Denmark right now?
About 6 million or something, I think.
On like 5.5 million.
Okay.
About 6 million or something.
Okay, so a population of about 6 million. Oh, by the way, is anyone else recording this, by the way?
No, just the bot.
Oh, thank fucking God, the bot is recording this. Yo, Shepard, could you after you record this, like when you upload it, like link it to me right away so I can re-download it and re-upload it to my channel? Because on my end, there's like background pictures, there's like, you know, my mic. Anyways, so a big thing about modern civilization is, yeah, it sucks a lot of the shit that we do, but we can actually pass legislative protections, which forces everyone to participate in. Now, in a tribalist society of, let's say, 6 million people, let's say if Denmark became anarchist, you know, Anarcho Tribalism, are you a primitivist or a tribalist? Do you still believe in a chief, or do you believe in a democracy with your tribe?
By the way, I'm not sure if my fucking facility Wi-Fi is gonna close down
Okay, no worries.
What's the question?
Do you believe in do you believe in a tribe with a chief, or a tribe with a tribe with a chief, or a tribe with democracy? What do you believe in? Dave, you're hot micing. Could you please mute yourself?
Currently, I believe in a tribe with a chief though.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if everyone had a tribal society, and if everybody had different tribes, let's just hypothetically say everything works out in the sense it's 75 to 250 people. So everyone has different tribes. Now within your tribes, what happens if one tribe or two tribes decide to start shitting in the river, and they just decided to start littering? Like within our modern system, we do have systems to try and minimize our environmental impact, such as waste removal. We try not to litter. We have garbage men that come by and they pick up the garbage. Now, I'm not saying that's perfect, but we do also have legislation to protect against pollution to some extent. What if, hypothetically, out of your 6 million people, some people just start shitting in the river and just start littering wherever? What is going to be done to stop those tribes?
We will get rid of those tribes at all costs, yeah.
Okay. Okay, what if that tribe has little option to remove their waste, and that's the reason why they're doing what they're doing? What if maybe some people in their, the people in their tribe, let's say a lot of them are elderly, and they just, they don't have as much energy to go carry out, dig in a ditch. Like, would you help them, or?
Yeah, sure. Gonna make a gonna make a what do you call it, a collaboration of tribes getting rid of a specific tribe, or at least changing it or something.
So even if they were physically unable to remove even if they were not physically able to remove their waste, so it's not their fault. Let's say a lot of them are elderly and they don't have as much energy to go and throw away their waste and to dig up a hole or something. Your conclusion is to not help them; it's to get rid of them. Am I correct?
No, I thought I misheard you. I thought
no,
that,
I'm giving. May I? Okay, I'm going to restate this. There's two scenarios. One of which is where they get rid of their waste and they don't give a fuck about the environment. The other one is maybe they're elderly or disabled and they do not have the manpower to get rid of their waste properly.
Yeah, just before we continue, I thought you meant that if there was a tribe with people throwing away waste, and there was another tribe with other tribes with elderly, that they had.
Yeah, I'm talking. I'm mentioning two different scenarios. One of which is where they don't give a fuck. The other one in which they don't have the manpower to get rid of it. What?
I thought you meant an entirely different situation.
Okay, yeah, but so in the situation where they're elderly and they cannot get rid of the waste. Okay, for just fucking, I'm hearing my own echo and I can't fucking get this out. Okay, dude. In a situation with elderly people and there needs to be waste removal, what are you going to do? Are you going to help that tribe, or are you going to kill them all?
Yeah, sure. Let's make a tribe could have and help them, I guess.
Okay. What if your tribes, your recent regional tribes, do not have the time or the manpower to help them? Do you kill them?
Could I get just like giving me 1 minute? I gotta go charge my phone in the case that my Wi-Fi is gonna shut down because my facility is retarded. But yeah.
Okay. I'll give you 1 minute. Dave, you having fun?
What?
Are you having fun?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's kind of hard because it's my first time debating, but it's good.
Yeah.
Feel free to jump in if you want to talk about something.
Yeah, like honestly, you seem pretty respectful so far. So, like, you can just do what I do, like ask if you can interject or something. May I interject or something? May I have a word? Yeah, just, let us know if you want to talk. We're not here to hate on you. We're just here to hate on each other's ideas, not you.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious, Arco, can you think of any other environmental, like the biggest situation I can think of with environmental issues with an anarcho tribalist society is removal of waste. Like, especially if there's
another issue is like cutting down trees for like building stuff and fires and things. Like there is a little bit of research that in Europe there was a little bit of like I can't remember if it cooled down in Europe or not, like a little mini ice age because of trees being cut down and burned in North America.
I don't know. I don't know, man. But I mean, like, yeah, I guess honestly, forest fires is a big issue. Like, you wouldn't have firefighters. So if you want to, so we wouldn't have the necessary resources to protect the environment.
Yeah, I mean, in California, the natives here used to do like for fire management. They would do controlled burns basically of the area, so the forest fires wouldn't be so wild to destroy all of their like where they lived. And now modern day firefighters are studying the ways that they manage the forest to keep forest fires less severe in California. But even in tribal societies, they were doing some kind of like environmental management.
Yeah, sure, we would do environmental management and do as firefighters would do. We would be our own firefighters.
Yeah, that wasn't really a question. Just a conversation between. Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
the point I was the point that I was trying to get to earlier was, if you had a situation with an elderly tribe, so mostly elderly people, and the young people have to tend to the crops, and they don't have as much time for waste management, and if you have the other tribes around that tribe not having the time to help that tribe with their waste management, would you kill that tribe or would you let that tribe pollute?
Wait, what? Of course, we wouldn't kill them, and we wouldn't let them pollute other. We would help them though.
No, but if you didn't have the resources to help them,
you would call some other tribes, I think.
Yeah, but I'm saying if the tribes in the area did not have the resources or did not want to give the resources to help them, what would you do? Would you let them pollute or would you kill them?
Well, you're saying something that it's not going to happen in tribal society because we would have the time in tribal society.
I would disagree, because if by any chance, let's say your crops were burned, stolen, or eaten by, let's say, animals, or let's just say no, you can let me finish. You can let me finish. No, you can let me fucking finish. Stop. Shut up. Just stop. Shut up. Okay, so if there was like wolves, eating your livestock, let's say you had livestock for pigs or whatnot. If there were wolves eating your livestock, if there were other animals eating your crops, and if you had to focus most of your manpower towards rebuilding more agriculture as soon as possible, do you understand my point that you might fall into a scenario where you don't have the resources or the time to help certain people?
I'm for a hunter-gatherer society though. I'm actually curious to hear what David is gonna have to say about this ridiculous question. Okay,
it's not fucking ridiculous. It's an inevitability that something like that might pop up.
Okay, David, do you have anything to say about that?
Me?
Yeah, David. He's I don't know if you heard him, but he said that did you hear what he said?
Can you repeat?
So if you were in a society, and if there was 4 tribes around you, and one of the tribes was an elderly tribe, and they didn't have the manpower to properly remove their waste, most of their kids would tend to the crops or do other stuff. So because of this, sometimes they have to pollute and throw their shit in the river or something.
Yeah.
And if the other tribes around that tribe did not want to spare the resources to help them, or did not have the resources to help them, at that point, what would you do to the tribe that's polluting?
Well, I see no reason to doing something to them, or even less killing them, because
Okay.
the environmental damage will be very little.
Okay.
You know
So,
what I mean?
all right, yeah, that's okay. I respect that. The next question.
Yeah.
Because so if it was so if you were to have, so you'd have, so let's say if some tribe just did not give a fuck about the environment, they're polluting.
Yeah.
Would you go to war with that tribe? They don't give a fuck. They only care about themselves. Would you go to war with that tribe if they were polluting the environment?
Well, that tribe will have like 100 people, something like that. And with the thing, I think that they wouldn't harm the environment so much.
No, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if there was a tribe that did not give a fuck about the environment, would you go, and if they're just assholes, would you go to war with that tribe to protect the environment?
Personally, I'm pacifist. I wouldn't do harm to them. I think it's their problem.
Okay, now Ferd on the other hand, so Ferd, you would want to go to war with another tribe, am I correct? If they were to not respect the environment?
If I had to do a war with another tribe, I just would like escape and go to another place if I could.
Okay, that's cool. But I'm just asking I want to ask this. So Ferd, you said you'd want to get rid of tribes that destroy the environment, right? Tribes that just don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, I'm actually I will apologize to David, but I didn't totally understand what you said.
I'm sorry, David. I'm gonna redirect this question back to Ferd. Is that all right? The next question.
Yeah.
I should have stated that. Okay, I apologize. So Ferd, would, like I said, if there was a tribe that just did not give a fuck about the environment, you would try to get rid of them. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What if that tribe was bigger than your tribe? What if your tribe was 150? What if hold on, what if your tribe was about 150 people and their tribe was about 240?
I get it. But then first of all, then we'll call on other tribes, and secondly, it's the problem we already have. Like, of civilization is much bigger than us, so it would be hard even in the first place to make a revolution. Even if we had an uphill to make a revolution, like those things would still occur. It's simply about following our principles and stuff. So we couldn't do anything about it just because we can't do anything about civilization.
Exactly.
But we will someday try to conduct our aims when ready, when we be most easily forced to make a revolution, just like it would right now under certain states or civilization.
Okay. So you acknowledge that there's a possibility. So I'm happy that you're charitable. You acknowledge this. There's a possibility you might be put in a scenario where there might be tribes that don't care about the environment, but yet you might have to pass a blind eye. So see, this is where I make the environmental argument being done through a state, is that we can actually legislate and enforce actual protection if we can democratically agree upon it. Now, when it comes to like other stuff like forest fires, like you wouldn't have firefighters if a forest fire broke out. Like there's all these different things that might actually create a lack of resources, because you were saying you would never have a lack of resources. If a fire broke out and burnt down somebody's tribe and somebody's agriculture, whatnot, all suddenly now that tribe is, let's say, out of resources.
What makes you think that we wouldn't have the resources to stop a fire? Like how? Like that
because
could civilization as well, that there couldn't be enough resource for states fighters to get rid of a fire.
We do have the reason. We have not only do we have militaries that can help out at worst case scenarios, but then we also have firefighters. And then we have firefighters across our entire nation. No. Hold on. Dude, my point is with this is do you acknowledge that do you acknowledge that through fires it could essentially wipe out your resources as well as damage the environment, and you wouldn't have the ability to stop it? We have the ability to stop some level of fires or slow them down with helicopters, with modern firefighters.
how come it's stuff like that? Not that I advocate for the past, cause past primitive tribes in before civilization were kind of dumb and didn't believe in the same or all the same stuff and values as I do, or at least like what my principles I've written in my manifesto, my ideas as well, though. But how come there haven't been any fires that wiped out forests and stuff in the past, though? If that's an actual thing, though, that like happens that occasionally.
Did you just seriously ask that? Was
Yeah, I
that
did.
that wasn't a joke? Okay. Arco, Ashton, is there anyone else in here? Like, I'm pretty sure throughout history there have been no. Ferd, stop.
Wait,
stop.
Maple, what was Maple saying?
What I'm trying to get to is, does anybody know empirical evidence of, let's say, throughout history, any actual forest fires wiping out entire forests? Like there's no ability, there's no resources to stop these fires. We have abilities and resources to either slow or stop these fires, as is right now.
We could like bring up like the fucking Amazon fires if you really want to.
I mean, like, yo, Ferd, I don't know how you honestly ask that. We do have resources where we can either try and chop down trees or either have firefighters allocate resources to either slow or stop forest fires. We have stopped forest fires throughout the history of humanity. Now, with that being said, do you genuinely believe there's not much of a difference?
Tribes as being weak.
What?
Well, why do you perceive tribes as being weak? Like, of course we can stop fires in
because you wouldn't. Because if you
civilization, we're gonna educate people on how to be firefighters as well, though.
Okay, so I mean, like, I personally think tribes are weak for multiple different reasons. One of which you can't even acknowledge your own logical fallacies, which we were discussing before. But on top of that, I like that's why we're talking about this. I think that's the whole reason why we're talking about this. That's the reason why we're having this discussion. So like that's the whole reason why we don't believe in it. So, and we're discussing those reasons right here. So we're giving you the answers to your questions. So, look, Ferd, hypothetically, if a forest fire happens, if you were to have the manpower to be able to handle those forest fires, you would need thousands or hundreds of people. Now, in order to do that, you'd have to have cooperation amongst the different tribes. If you had cooperation amongst the different tribes, there's a very good chance you would need leadership amongst the different tribes. If you had leadership amongst the different tribes, you basically have a dissolved, you have a downgraded state at that point. And here's the other, here's the other problem I have with forest fires. Like, it can wipe out one tribe's resources. Like a really bad winter could wipe out your resources. A really bad forest fire can wipe out your resources. Like, the reason why the Vikings had a culture of raping and pillaging and murdering and killing, one of the reasons why was because of the fact that where they lived throughout history, it wasn't uncommon for them to run out of resources, and in order for them to survive, they had to go to war with their neighbors and then fucking kill their neighbors and take their resources. If there's a lack of resources, that tribe will have to go to war in order to survive.
Yeah. But that can happen in civilization too.
Yeah, but how?
Get up, man.
So I want to say.
Wait. I just wanted to step in for like half a second. Rasta, the whole reason we're pointing out that these can also happen in civilizations is to show that Ferd's criticisms of civilizations actually applies to his own system.
And it's worse because in a civilization we have mass agriculture, so we have an abundance of resources throughout seasons regardless. We import and export resources, so we have food no matter what the season is, no matter where we are. But in Ferd society, no.
I don't care about.
Ferd, you know you're cutting me off, right? I didn't finish, Ferd. I didn't finish.
Moderate and mute Ferd while you're talking.
Yeah, like, dude, I never actually finished. Like, so my point is, I want to say is, like, within a tribalist society, you would be more likely to run into scarcity of resources because you wouldn't have agriculture.
Well, who's the Demati here that keeps me like who keeps me muting me? This is a pretty fucking shit.
Sir, Ferd.
You
Okay,
over
Ferd.
talking him and swallowing your mic constantly.
Ferd, there's another problem too. Like when I ask you yes or no questions, you won't even give me a third answer. You'll actually go on a rant. So I mean, like, just your debate etiquette is less than ideal, and we're trying to be very polite and nice to you here, Ferd. We want to hear your ideas. We're not here to hate on you, okay?
Yeah, but you're not gonna keep muting me one more time. Like I swear to fucking God, man.
Yeah, but Ferd, I just said like I wasn't finished speaking and you cut me off. So
okay, my mistake. I didn't hear that. I just be like, oh shit. Like
don't worry.
Caught you off everything.
Don't worry, it's okay. I've done it too. We all do it sometimes in a debate, but just try not to take it personally, okay? We want to hear your ideas. We're not here to hate. We're just here to discuss these ideas, okay? So, yeah. So like, I'm not here to be toxic today. Like like I'm not gonna do that again. So, right. Once again, so getting back to my point, do you acknowledge that there would be you'd be more likely in a tribalist society to have a scarcity of resources, and through either means of too long winters or wild animals or other tribes invading or fires, there's a possibility of a lot of things going wrong, running out of resources, and then having to go to war with your neighbor tribe.
But they might go to war with their neighbors. Then it's just like survival of the fittest, but I don't think they're gonna do that, and it's tribes not gonna do that, and people don't do that, frankly. But there's not gonna be a scarcity of resources, though. Like I'm not actually like that much into. I don't know if it's bushcraft. I don't know if that's something different though. But I'm not that into like survival, which I should do, like how to survive in nature and shit. But I'm sure there's a way to survive the winter though, because humans have done that, or else we wouldn't exist though.
Yeah, we did that by killing other tribes.
Yeah, but how did they have the resources then to begin with?
Yeah, it's called one tribe running out of resources and they go to war with the other tribe. Yeah, Ferd. So no, Ferd. Okay, I wasn't. No. I didn't finish. Shh. So, Ferd. My point that I'm trying to make here is, I think you can easily understand this. I think one of the points you're making is, well, the other tribe could have had resources, and you're neglecting the point that I first made, is that through either natural causes such as forest fires or long winters, or through other sentients such as dogs, eating it, wolves eating it, bears eating your agriculture, rats eating your agriculture, or just other tribes, there's a possibility you could run out of resources. What?
Not gonna have agriculture.
What'd you say?
I'm anti-civilizationist. I'm not. I don't promote agriculture, for crying out loud. Did you even read my manifesto?
Are you even listening? Okay, are you even listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm sorry, but I just find something ridiculous you say, and I just have to involve and respond to that because it's just so ridiculous.
I don't think you're engaging. It's not that it's ridiculous, Ferd. It's that I don't think you can engage with the idea that I'm saying. Okay, Ferd, let's ask a simple question. Can you even steal, man? Can you actually describe the argument that I'm describing? Do you even understand what I'm describing?
You're describing what?
What argument am I giving you? If it's so ridiculous, then explain how it's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous because you mentioned agriculture, and we're not gonna have fucking agriculture.
I never said you'd have industrial agriculture, Ferd. Like planting crops, planting crops, Ferd. I know Ferd, English is your second language, so I'm gonna be very fucking charitable to you here.
Hey, Maple.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask Ferd a question, you do have to let him answer.
Okay. Ferd, if you plant crops, that is agriculture. You understand that, right?
Yeah, it depends in what context and what and the amount. But yeah, sure.
I never said you'd have industrial agriculture.
Okay, so how's it different from normal? What's industrial agriculture?
Are you against eating plants, Ferd, and planting plants?
No.
That's agriculture. It's just not modern agriculture.
Okay, I guess, but isn't the amount that doesn't take up space and it's actually like permaculture, like within the land you're already using, or you're not really using the land, but like within the earth though. So it's not like you're saying it's not that so it's necessary to take the amount of to take forests down and shit in the name of that agriculture though.
Honestly, did anyone understand what he was saying there? Because he was botting, and it's also his accent. It's kind of hard to understand what he's saying.
Oh no, okay. I'm not against so I'm a little bit okay, but I'm not against that kind of agriculture if it doesn't mean that you have to take down woods and nature like terraform with that kind of so an industrial agriculture as you call it.
So,
but
okay, would you be against chopping down trees to make a home?
It depends on what amount. Again, it isn't like sort of black and white, but just use your general like sense. I would say like
Okay,
tribal
okay,
sense.
right. Okay, Ferd, so my point I was trying to make earlier was if you had a society, do you acknowledge that there'd be more wars in a tribalist society for resources? Do you acknowledge it, yes or no?
Maybe I haven't really thought about it actually, but it doesn't seem like a huge problem though. That's just part of natural order.
Well, it is a huge, like, often you'll talk about cohesion amongst other tribes. If there's war for other tribes, and you like in your manifesto you talk about borders. The moment a war breaks out, you're literally going to have borders. You're going to have territorial claims.
Yeah. I'm
So
kind of it's not that I don't want to respond to what you're saying, but it's like I'm at 0:20 a.m. at me right now, and I'm kind of I'm just gonna get a quick apple and some water. Could David take over? Meanwhile, is that okay? It's not that I'm trying to. I can't respond to it right now. Just like real quick. Could David maybe take this
Dave,
over or take the spotlight?
Dave.
Yeah, I don't know if.
So my point that I was trying to make is if there wasn't, let's say, so I talked about like obviously environmental damages, and I talked about how environmental damages is forest fires or just really long winters. Anything that affects the environment could affect your crops. It could affect your well-being. Wolves eating your pigs could affect your well-being. People, other tribes, or people stealing more crops than what they should be getting could affect your well-being as a tribe. So if there was a situation where you had to go to war with other tribes, like do you acknowledge that actually no, first and foremost I should actually state, do you acknowledge that there would be more war in a tribalist or anarcho primitivist society versus a modern civilization?
Yeah, I do, but I'm not 100% sure if people would really wanted to go into war. I think war would be like the last resort, and if people will have lack of resources, they will go to another place or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but I acknowledge that of course wars will still exist.
Yeah. Like even in modern day, even modern civilization, there's gangs, and gangs have war.
I don't know if more or less wars, but they will still exist for sure.
Okay, can you acknowledge that having wars amongst different tribes would essentially create the reemergence of borders? I believe that war would create a reemergence of a state because you would need borders.
Yeah, I think borders will be established in a tribal society,
Okay,
as you
well,
said.
okay, well, Ferd, I don't think Ferd agrees with borders, so.
No, I don't really, but I mean, like, it's not like gonna be like permanent borders. It's gonna be like sub temp kind of to temp. It's gonna be like natural, like tribal borders and stuff.
That is very
So,
insightful.
Arco, what do you call him? Arco Whip. Yo, Arco Whip, you've got some skinny arms, man. I can't hear him.
Well,
Dude, that's kind of a dick move.
No, I'm just saying.
Ferd, often you sound like someone, like I could say a bunch of mean things about you, but I promise this was going to be a polite discussion.
Oh,
So
okay,
do you, do you,
I'm sorry.
like, you know, you want a polite discussion.
Remember that.
Like, I'm an Omega level asshole. I'm not just an asshole. I'm like an Omega level asshole. You thought I was asshole last time? No, I was going easy. I'm Omega level asshole. So I mean, like, I'm trying to take it pretty nice here.
Like.
Okay,
Can you
there.
try not to irate me, please?
That was that, like, we don't need to hear that you like laughing and eating your mic and devouring it at the same time. That's not appropriate. So, getting back to discussion. So, all right. So, Dave, I'll have a discussion with you because Ferd just seems to go in circles. So, my problem is if there's a reemergence. So, if you have war, I believe there would be a reemergence of at least the minimal aspects of a state, such as a gang existing that has some level of legislation. Okay, I'm talking to Dave. Hold on. So I personally believe a government is a gang that has legislative ability over the means of monopoly of violence, and also has essentially has over some level of borders that is well organized. So at least at absolute minimal, it would be a downgraded version of a state. And if you constantly go to war, let's say if your neighbors are going to war or whatnot with you or something, it would create a situation where there would be little cohesion with tribes. And if there was little cohesion with tribes, you wouldn't be able to, there's a lot of things you wouldn't be able to do, such as be able to try and take care of the environment together. Like, do you understand my argument with that? Dave, are you there?
Yeah.
So constant war would create tension, making it difficult to have cohesion for the environment.
Yes.
Okay, well, you agree on that. So this is one of my problems with anarcho primitivism or anarcho tribalism. I don't believe it'd be better for the environment because I think it would have I think it'd have the same problems, just in a different form. Maybe slightly less, but honestly, in some ways, I think it would be more damaging.
What?
And this is one of my criticisms for anarcho tribalism and anarcho primitivism. I think it would be more damaging in some ways to the environment, because if there was wars between tribes, the tribes would not be able to collectively protect the environment.
I got ADHD and I can't really concentrate right now.
How about we just say I won this point, or we can agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree. We can move on to something else.
No. Okay. But maybe we could try to repeat that again, or did David respond to whatever?
Yeah, no, he agreed. He agreed with what I said, that in an anarcho-primitivist or anarcho-tribalist society, if there was constant wars between tribes, it would be difficult to try and protect the environment, and there would not be cohesion to protect the environment.
I don't agree with that, though, but...
Okay, that's good.
I don't think it's going to get any worse at least, though.
I think if there was constant wars, it would get worse. If there was constant wars, so there's a number of things that would happen. One of which is if there was technology such as fire weapons, like that in and of itself is polluting the environment, like shells going on to the soil. Like, obviously, like, that always happens. But if there is if there's a war going on, not only is there the resources that you're using to conduct the war, but on top of that you have potentially, let's say if you're putting down landmines after the war, that might still be there. Or let's say hypothetically, if you had a war and you're no longer prioritizing proper waste removal. Whatever's quick and efficient for survival will become the most useful means of getting rid of waste. So that could include throwing it into the river, throwing it into the lake. You no longer if you were in a war, if you were in a war for your life or death situation, the environment is no longer a priority. Therefore, the environment could be sort of damaged, and there wouldn't be any.
Even then, it would still be at the same scale, though, of civilization, though, because we've got so many people and different establishment with corporation and so forth that wouldn't be a thing in tribal society.
Yeah, see, this is actually something I find funny about your friends. Like, they'll acknowledge when there is an issue, and they'll say, yeah, that could potentially be an issue. And I'm like, okay, they agree with that. You, on the other hand, you'll just claim that this just wouldn't happen. And this is where a lot of people believe that you're just kind of romanticizing your idea of how you want society to be. And you're romanticizing your idea of how you think human nature is, without actually looking at the empirical evidence. So if we could maybe move on, do you still want to talk about this further or no?
I'm gonna have a date with tribalism. It's really romantic, and I know what you meant though. But you asked if we want to move on to something else.
Would you like to move on to another subject, Ferd?
Wait, to another subject? Yeah, sure. I don't know. I kind of want to end this debate because I already knew like how to begin with that. There are so many things to talk about and stuff because this is such a big thing, maybe even bigger than a socialist capitalist debate compared to a anti-SIF, post-SIF debate, tribal debate and shit. I think maybe we should wrap this up if I want to.
Do you want to wrap this up in 15 minutes, or do you want to wrap this up now?
Let's wrap this up in 15 minutes, I think. But maybe we could talk about this later at some point, maybe on after we at Discord or somewhere else on those lines. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. So Arco, Ashton, I want to have you guys have the floor. So if you have anything you guys want to get out, you have 15 minutes. So I think I'm just gonna
I'm good.
myself.
Oh. I made my closing statement at the end of the natural law part.
Okay, so Ashton, you have anything you want to say?
Not really. I've already dealt with Ferd at the beginning.
Also tradition.
And that just ended up going around in circles.
Judging by your profile picture, you look really feminine, man.
Well, it's not me, so.
Oh.
By your profile picture, you look like some guy who's never gotten out of his house.
Caveman. Is that what you're trying to say?
Like, Ferd, like, I'm not even being a dick here, but, like, your profile picture, you look like, you look like you're still in, like, 7th grade, dude. Like, this, like...
Okay, that was a funny disc. It's great. Yeah, I don't feel you were kind of gonna say that, so that's why I find it funny though. Okay, you're gonna post, we're gonna have like rate me picture kind of thing. Could you? Yeah, I know you're not gonna.
I'd rather have a few conversations. So I want to particularly deal with the topic of tradition, because we've talked about natural law, we've talked about economics. I would like to talk about, let's say, tradition. So you have some ideas on tradition. Now, this is my general gist of tradition. Tradition is a big part. It's an environment. A big part of it is environment, but also another aspect is human prejudice and culture. So even if you have a tribalist culture, you're going to eventually create tradition. So, I know you're not a big fan of tradition in your manifesto. You don't like the idea that tradition forces people into uncomfortable clothing and whatnot. Yeah. Do you acknowledge the fact that in a tribalist society, whatever becomes normal will become what?
When comfortable, like for example, as you mentioned, like all those traditions and the same we brought up with comfortable with clothing would be the natural thing to do so,
Yeah.
and it would, yeah.
Do you
So-
acknowledge? Do you acknowledge that people that don't want to wear comfortable clothing will feel the exact same way how you do right now? People who don't want to wear that, they'll feel the exact same way.
No, cause hoodies and sweatpants and comfortable clothing is the way to go, man. Like what do you call it, like relaxed style. I don't know.
Okay, so another aspect about tradition is, let's say, like a big part of tradition when it comes to clothing has been copying kings and queens. Let's say if you have a tribal chief, if he starts wearing different clothing, that clothing will become a symbol of status. So even then, you still have to worry about that. So I mean, like that in and of itself, like wearing comfortable clothing, like sure, maybe in your ideal society, but that ultimately society, like all that stuff does come down to the chief. Like, do you understand what I'm trying to get at here? Is a tribalist society wouldn't necessarily champion your ideal dress code. It would champion whatever the norm is, just the same.
Called relaxed clothes. But do you mean like a chief wearing a sweatshirt that said I'm the fucking chief bitch or something?
No, if the chief decides.
He wouldn't do that though, and if he did, he would be irrational, and
if the chief
scenario get rid of. But I don't think that's gonna happen, because in other natural order, people wear comfortable shit, because uncomfortable and uncasual clothing is shit made up by civilization and evil traditions.
God, I don't even know where to go with that. That is just.
Yeah, I like from destroyed you, man.
No. Everything you said was absurd. Evil. Like, why is it evil? How is it evil? Like, honestly, you're framing this around whatever makes me feel good is good. Therefore, we ought to do this. Oh, this feels more comfortable. We ought to do that. I like this. We ought to do that. I don't like this. It's evil. We ought not to do that. Like, when you frame around evil, there's no... I don't even think you have a logical moral framework based around it. It's just whatever you feel like. And like you yourself, you said might makes right. So, I mean, like, the tribalist chief could say, fuck you, Ferd. I want to have a different dress code. Okay, well, what if the chief wants a different dress code because it separates their members from different tribes?
We would get rid of them. That's oppression.
Like that's what, yeah, but that's historically what tribes have done to try and keep out spies or to try and keep out people. Like on the army field, like on the battlefield. No, you can let me finish. On the battlefield, people might wear a certain dress code so that way they can see who's on their side, so they don't accidentally kill their own members. Like, all these aspects of tradition will not disappear even if you get rid of civilization. And there's other aspects of tradition as well I could go into. But do you acknowledge that there will still be aspects of what is considered to be normal, and it might not be in your favor? Do you acknowledge that?
Well, what I acknowledge might not be in my favor. But the things that I don't get your overall point, man. But I'm just saying that things that that aren't natural would get rid of, or things that are irrational, like
this is
stuff made up by civilization.
This is what the chief might think. All right, Ferd, we're gonna get rid of you, just like how you think you can get rid of me. Well, guess what? The chief could think to himself that he's a chief and he's going to get rid of you because you don't like the dress code. And the chief might think to himself, I like this dress code because this way we know who's on our side, especially if a battle breaks out. So I want to have this dress code so that way we know who's on our side, so we don't accidentally kill our own people.
Sure. He could wear a golden hood.
He can enforce that dress code 24/7 in case of, potentially attacks from the enemy.
Maybe.
Yeah. So then you once again you come full circle, and then you have that dress code you don't like. And this is just assuming that the chief wants comfortable clothing like you do.
What? What are you even saying?
I'm saying this is I'm assuming that your chief wants comfortable clothing like you do. So I'm just saying in a situation like a case of a war, there's a possibility the chief might enforce less comfortable clothing. Maybe it's a type of armor or something. I don't know. You might enforce I don't know. Maybe things that you find uncomfortable. Maybe other people find it comfortable. But it's something that you don't like. No. It's something that you don't like. It's something that you don't like, and he forces you to wear it in case of war, in case of invasion.
Sure, if it's necessary, but just not things that are irrational. Oh, fuck, okay, but sure that might be the case, but just not things that are irrational. No, like if it's rational and it's necessary for the survival and for the tribe and stuff itself, then it would be necessary to wear those armory things or whatever.
Why do you think? I could argue it's rational to wear. I could argue in some ways it's rational to wear nice dress clothing.
It's not why do people have to do that? Oh, cause it's tradition.
I could argue rational reasons on why we prefer nice dress clothing. It shows, especially if you're a dude, it shows you're capable of not only taking care of yourself and cleaning your own clothing, but also shows you're capable of actually presenting yourself nicely. It shows good hygiene. It shows you take care of yourself. These things. If these things will exist even if you're in a tribal society, someone who looks cleaner or more cleanly or more high statusy, however you want to put it. If someone looks like they have either higher status, they look more cleanly, those people will still be preferable to people that look like they do not take care of themselves, they are not capable of being cleanly, they're not capable of presenting themselves nicely.
People are and should have the same hygiene and standards in the tribe, though, because everyone would be united and the same standards would be imposed on every tribe member and everyone in the tribe.
Wait, is Bozon on your side, Ferd?
He said that he didn't wanna. He just wanted to listen in, but he didn't want to participate because this is what was my spotlight, though. But I don't know if he would like to do so in the last section.
All right, forget about it. So let's get back to where we were talking about. So, okay, so here's another aspect of tradition. Throughout history, women, throughout history in big civilizations, most big civilizations, women were forced into gender roles. You're against that, right?
I'm strongly against gender roles.
Okay, so I want to make this point. Racism, religion, and even gender roles played a key role in survival throughout history. And particularly in the case of a war, if you went to war with, let's say, your neighbors, one man could impregnate 50 girls, but one girl can only be impregnated by one man. So then you have an issue of birth rates. So if you have all your women being annihilated in your tribe, or almost all your women, over time, unless you annihilate all of their men and take their women, they will eventually outpopulate you over time.
That's not gender roles, though. That's just like biological stuff.
Yeah, no, but that has enforced gender roles. The fact is that women are very valuable.
That's not gender roles. That's just like sexual roles, though. No. What I mean is like that's biological stuff. But maybe I've meant like irrational gender roles. But I don't really think that
it is
gender roles.
Yeah, but Ferd, it's only irrational.
Okay, it's
Ferd.
Okay,
Ferd.
Let's say it's gender roles, though. Yeah, then that's okay. I guess, but not like all the irrational shit about how women and men are different. Like only the biological shit with the hormones and reproductive shit. Like not the irrational bullshit.
Men and women are different not only biologically but psychologically. That is not true. I mean, like, I could send you articles from psychology today that have actual psychologists with PhDs that would argue that there's differences between men and women with psychology.
That's cause women and men have experienced different factors that have made them believe this way, and
that's not true. There's
factors imposed by society that made women women's bodies or what.
I'm gonna digress, and I'm gonna make these points. Number one is with women, they have estrogen. Men have testosterone. These hormones make us behave differently. These are objective facts. Now, with that being said, going forward, when it with men in war, it's much more efficient to basically put your men to war and to force your women to stay home and to be in the kitchen. And the reason why it's strategically beneficial is because you don't want your women getting annihilated in the war. The reason why we don't have gender roles right now is because we've moved past tribal and more primitive civilizations. The reason why all these things seem like they're irrational is because we moved past the need for it. The reason why historically other tribes used to be racist was to try and keep out potentially newcomers that might be trying to invade the tribe, take over the tribe, or spy on the tribe. Nowadays, we don't have to worry about it nearly as much with the amount of abundant resources and the peace that we live in. So all these things you're saying that are unnatural, they would simply just reemerge in a tribal society.
Hey, I gotta go. It's very late here.
See ya.
Nah, nice to meet you.
So I think we're almost done. But Ferd, do you understand the point that I was making?
No, please, we repeat what you said.
Okay, so just give me one quick second. I could
make the exact same point.
Right.
Just repeat it again.
Here's one interesting article. I mean, like, yeah, no, fuck that shit. I don't know. I'll just continue with what I was saying. So, when it comes to differences between, men and women and gender roles, when it comes to all these differences that we have in society, a large part of it comes back from more primitive societies and more primitive civilizations. Historically, if you went to war with your neighbors, and if you put your women on the battlefield, and if they all died, you would not have women to create the next generation. However, if you lost half your men in war, one man could technically impregnate two different girls. So strategically, you have a benefit to actually oppressing women. And I'm not advocating for the oppression of women, but I'm saying if you bring back a tribalist society, there's a very good chance oppression would come back. Now, when it comes to racism, there's a benefit of keeping out the outgroup. It's the fact of, there's a reason why we used to be racist. It's to keep out outsiders. So we can try and keep ourselves safe from either spies or even potential slow takeovers.
That's just being homogenous, though.
Yeah, but
and also the other thing you said, it's still not irrational gender roles. That's just biology. So that's okay though.
Okay, so it's okay to have gender roles where women have to stay home and they can't go to war.
Wait, what? No.
You just are you engaging with what I'm saying?
That women can't we would have to get more women from the other tribe, or that we have to acknowledge the different sexes, cause cause we will need to reproduce and take those things into account, and which I agree though upon, but we shouldn't treat differently. Like if a woman is strong enough to be capable of going to war, she would. And also women have been weakened by civilization and civilization traditions and stuff, customs, so traditions, so they're not as strong as they used to be and stuff. We used to be equally as strong and have to have the equally like testosterone estrogen at one point.
Dude. Can you literally, like, I could throw in just a few articles that could show differences between men and women. Like I could state,
that civilization has cost fucking.
Like I could show a few articles that have, they were showing differences in difference in psychology between men and women. Like, hold on, no, stop. That doesn't change the fact of what I'm trying to get at. I don't like, and even then, when you're bringing up these things about men and women at one point having equal amount of estrogen and testosterone, that doesn't change the fact that right now, evolutionarily, we do not. Women have more estrogen on average. Men have more testosterone. No. You can let me finish, Ferd. So, my point that I'm trying to make is, if you're in a time of war, there is a benefit to not allowing your women to go to war, to sort of oppressing them to a gender role, keeping them in line. When you keep, because the thing is you want your women. No, you want your women so you can reproduce and have the next generation. As for men can be easily replaced because one man could impregnate two different girls. So, do you understand the fact that gender roles would just inevitably come back over time? Like these gender roles of women, being in the kitchen, or women, being women sort of being the support team for a man, that is very correlated with human war. Like, there's a reason why these gender roles have gone away or have started to fade away in modern civilization, peaceful civilization.
When are we gonna end the debate? By the way, are we gonna, like, it's been like over 15 minutes as you said.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just my closing statement. You haven't been able to track your logical fallacies, and generally, whenever I push you into something that you cannot debate against, you'll just try to say it either won't happen, or we can get rid of this group, or that, or the third. Or at least your friend Dave would admit, the faults of his ideology. And he just admitted honestly.
What?
I'm saying your friend Dave is willing to admit the faults of this ideology. He still chooses to believe in it.
Sure. Not everybody believes the same stuff, though. But still, it still shows that as he believes himself that a tribal society is better than civilization, and also the reason why I say, like, we have to get rid of people, or it's not going to happen so many times as you said I've done, is that it's literally because of that. It's because you civilization and most states and states and all that, they don't allow those kind of things to happen. They don't get rid of immoral or weakened people. They just accept the degeneracy and all the faults of
Ferd,
industrialism and civilization and agriculture.
Ferd, all you do when you talk about okay, so Ferd, a big thing that you do is you'll name a bunch of different things. You won't prove any of it. Like, I at least gave you an article showing differences in psychology between men and women. Now, dude, like, I really don't care. I really no, Ferd, Ferd, no, Ferd, I don't care. I could make the claim that your tribalist society is all degeneracy, it's evil, it's immoral. But I have to prove why it's evil, it's immoral, why it's degenerate. And this is something you do. You make claims, but you don't really prove them.
Ask me, Amir, those questions.
We've been asking you many different questions throughout this entire time.
All right, guys. I think we're just making our closing statements. So, Shittiest, do you want to just finish up your closing statements, and Ferg, just don't interrupt them? As soon as he's done, you can do your closing statements.
I did. Every fucking time we make a closing statement, you can't even let someone goddamn finish, dude. So, this is my statement. You haven't been able to track your logical fallacies, and it gets so frustrating to the point...
Don't interrupt them, dude.
Okay, can you just mute them? Thank you. So, you can't track your logical fallacies. You just, so we were feeling very frustrated with that. I personally felt like we won because you weren't able to recognize it, and you weren't able to make distinctions. According to your own logic, even tribalist society is immoral or unfair or is unethical to your own logic, and you weren't able to keep up with that. And there are... And honestly, there's a number of other issues I have with your ideology. I don't believe it's going to be better for the environment in the long run. I don't believe it actually isn't better for the environment. It just has different negative impacts to the environment. That's it. And, Arco, Ashton, if you'd like to have some final words. Or I guess Arco.
I'm good. I already made my closing statements in the natural law.
I'm also good. I'm gonna unmute Fed now. Let's just try not to overtalk him. Just everybody shut up. All right, easy clap.
Okay, so I get really confused by one Marvel says of that I can't respond to certain stuff because I've actually been able to. He just says that I can't, though, even though I've been able to, and even though he said that he brought up an article as an example. I mean, I can kind of talked over there, and I said like he might not. I don't think he would agree on this though. But I said that it's cause the psychology of women. How do I have to make quick, or can I just ramble on? I don't know. But that women can just women's psychology has been changed, so that's been the issue. And the reason I say where we would get rid of people, it's not that's not a bad argument. That's just still a fact though. Like in civilization, people don't get rid of people that are in danger of I'm not pro system, but they don't get rid of people that are a danger to their entity or system or whatever. As in tribes, people get rid of anyone who would be a threat to the tribe and stuff. I can't remember everything he said in his last six statements. But but I don't really what but I could still argue about what was immoral though if he
closing statement.
Why is he allowed to talk? Oh, he muted himself. Okay, my closing statements. Oh no, you can actually repeat. Could we respond to what you questioned?
Closing statement, Ferd.
Yeah, he's closing statement though. I don't know. We gotta stop now, but I'm actually I actually like don't want any like misunderstandings or like communication type of shit. Like I want us to be like totally understandable of each other and everyone else too and stuff. But I've actually been able to respond to every single thing and stuff, and he actually hasn't proved me wrong on everything though, cause yeah.
Okay, are you done, Ferd, with your closing statement?
Oh, closing statements. I don't know. For civilization is a crappy piece of system that should never been invented and in the first place, and we should get rid of civilization because it oppresses and makes life shitty for everyone. Almost every problem caused by civilization. Like civilization causes problems that didn't used to be problems before, like getting hit by cars or racial or gender oppression and stuff, and corruption, political corruption, and all those shit. I can bring up a lot of other stuff too, but we'll just wrap this up. Okay, but all of those things didn't happen in tribal society, though, and life was easier back in tribal society. It was easy and it was a utopia, and we can make utopia because I'm an advocate for like the tribes we might used to have, and we don't really know like specifically how they used to, what their customs were and everything. But at least from what I argued about and with the tribal system, or no, not tribal system, but tribal society or tribalism that I advocate for, would literally like solve every single problem with my ideology. No, yeah, I don't think I've got anything else to say unless Marvel has got any last words or anything. I don't know. But yeah, this whole debate has been a live stream to the Capecast podcast thing. So if you could all go on their YouTube and subscribe to Capecast, then that would be fucking yeah.
Okay, thanks for debating, guys. I'll move everyone back to Saloon. And I also posted the voting poll in the debate chat.
Okay then.